Y'all do more with less down there. Thank you so much, Nathan. We appreciate you. Tracy, too. We had a comment from Tracy Pierce. We've got a guy, so I can give you a number that you can call, okay? Yeah. City doesn't provide that service, but we have someone who can take care of that. Building inspector, Bob Bliss.
Hello, everybody. I don't have near as exciting as the last one. Been a pretty quiet month. The zoning board of adjustment was, we didn't have any items, so that was canceled. Planning and zoning, we didn't have any items for that, but we have to meet at least 6 times a year, so we met to discuss needed changes to the city ordinances. We was going through that, so we contradict each other, and something to be clarified a little bit, so we're working on that. We still have the 4 houses under construction in Phoenix Hill. And we've got 2 or 3 in-ground pools going right now. We've got a couple decks, a couple big porches and stuff, so we're keeping busy with that. Anybody have any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Code Enforcement Officer Stephen Tuttle.
Good evening. Wanted to start out with a situation that we had on Main Street where we went to court with the owners of Main Street 207 Wynn. We did get that decision in court, however, that kind of started the owners thinking they better get on it or they're going to lose the house and all this stuff, so they paid off the liens, paid off the attorney, and then they started working over there. So it's under construction, we're looking in on it, and so that's starting to move now. So 207 Wynn is off of the foreclosure list because they paid everything up and now they're starting to move, so we're kind of viewing that as a victory. We did, in the last council meeting, we had 2 more blighted, abandoned, dilapidated houses that you're going to see later on in this meeting, so we've got those coming, and that is 204 Montgomery Avenue and 518 East Locust Street, so the mayor's going to present those to you later on. And then we also sent a combination of rubbish and weed letters out, between 32 letters since the last time we were before you. So, any questions on any of that?
Do you usually get, I'm sorry, Steve. Do you usually get folks respond when you say you need to mow?
Usually we do, but sometimes we just find some holes in the situation. Like we have to use the PDA. Whoever's the owner on PDA record, sometimes that's bouncing to a tax corporation or something, so sometimes it's hard to find who we need to talk to get it. Sometimes we've even contacted the resident or the person that's renting that place or whatever, but that gets a little bit tricky. We really have to send it to the PDA record and know from the owner. Sometimes we miss some people that way.
Sometimes
they can come into the code board and talk about it, and we can do some things there through the code board. But usually they do. But Nathan and them have been great about getting it at the right time. Yeah, and sometimes they'll call us, say, I got a guy coming Saturday. It'll be a little bit past the date. We'll give them till Monday to do it. We don't want to do it, but we don't want it to go where the neighbors are complaining.
Right.
Yeah, did that resident from Wynn Street pick up the phone and call you?
Did the what from?
Resident on Wynn Street.
I did not have anybody yet.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, but they can surely call me. We were there Thursday. Of course, we won't be there tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. City Clerk, Jeanette Bertram.
I'm sure y'all are noticing all the fireworks tents going up in town. We actually have 5 tents this year. That's normally how many we have every year is 5. And they are repeat merchants that come every year. They are allowed to sell until July the 6th. And we also are currently in our phase of renewing a beer and liquor license. And all beer and liquor licenses have to be renewed by June the 28th. Any establishment that has not renewed by June the 28th, midnight June the 30th, midnight 01 June the 30th, they cannot sell until they have renewed their license. But the renewals are coming in really good, so we're not having no issues.
That's packaged
With
in
them.
as a drink.
The restaurants and
At the stores.
and
Okay.
that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And then for the mayor's report, I have this on your desk. I'll go through this quickly. Got good news back on our TAP 3 sidewalks. We've been waiting for that environmental study to be completed. It has been completed. So Stephen Sewell has forwarded the last remaining paperwork he had to the state to request funding. So hopefully over the next month or so, we will see that finalized and go to bid solicitation. So that's good news. Facade grant applications, we are open for applications now for facade grants for businesses. That closes on Monday, June 24th at 3 p.m. I will need a committee to review those. So I would ask if there's any council members. Scott Murphy. Got Murphy's, anyone else? Dr. King, you want to? Okay. There's two, so if you two would not mind, next week we'll just need, once I have them, I can tell you how many applications we have, and we'll set up a time for you all to review those, and we want to announce those by the recipients by next Friday. On the right-hand side, topics of interest, street paving schedule. They began milling today on South Queen Street. We have 5 streets that we are going to have resurfacing operations take place. Just as a reminder, that's Floyd Drive, Wade Court, that's the Levy Heights subdivision, South Queen Street, a portion of Sterling Avenue, and then Antwerp Avenue. That's the 5 that Walker Construction is beginning milling and resurfacing operations on, and that began today. Paint pickup, Nathan mentioned that concludes this week. Farmers Market will they'll have their official grand opening this Saturday. So if you're able to go down and just take part in those festivities there, they'll have a lot going on. I've got public fireworks use on there just to remind everyone. I've already spoken to Chief. In case you get asked, per ordinance, our window to shoot fireworks in the city of Mount Sterling is July 1st through the 7th. And that is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. each evening. On July 4th, that extends to midnight 30. So there's a longer period of time on the 4th of July. So asked Chief to make sure our officers, as complaints come in about people shooting fireworks, that they visit that property and first notify those homeowners that they're outside of the ordinance, and then if it happens again, that they will issue citations.
That's only in the city, right?
That's only in the city. County has no fireworks ordinance of any sort. So just wanted you all to know that. It's crept up on us. It's almost here. City Hall is closed tomorrow for Juneteenth. We're also closed for Independence Day. Those dates are listed. And then on the staffing report, Nathan had mentioned that we did have one seasonal employee come on board, a very fine young man. And I know Nathan has appreciated having an extra hand to be able to do a lot of the infrastructure projects and so forth. He's been a great young man, great addition for us. So that's my report. Any questions for me? Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
And I think you've answered this before, maybe I just forgot or it just didn't work out. On the bypass, in front of Dutchess, coming around the bypass either way, turning right. Who do we have to contact about that?
Well, so good question. The state has maintenance and oversight over all those lights. So we can certainly put a request into the state, and I'm happy to do so. I know the light. And then the state will come out and do a study. They've done them at the 110 exit. They've done it at the intersection of North Maysville and Indian Mound. And it's up to them to decide whether they change the sequencing of the lights or if they need to add a turn light. So it's the state's decision based on the evidence or the statistics they have to support whether they need to do that or not.
While I'm on the roll, one last question.
Sure.
All the blighted, dilapidated houses that we have torn down and leveled, how many of those properties do we still own?
We got quite a few, and they're in your list in your packet.
Well, I'm saying, my question is,
Off the top of my
what
head,
are we gonna do with them?
Well, that's a great question. So, what are we gonna do with all this property we've got? I know Nathan wants us to figure that out because they have to mow all of those. We're coming to a decision point. I've
Okay.
asked Gateway Area Development District to help prepare a grant application for housing to see if we could put forward an application to receive some funds like we did with the Matty Lee project and to build affordable houses on some of those properties. Some of those properties we're not gonna be able to, and when we get to that decision point, we may just choose to go ahead and auction those off. Maybe put deed restrictions on those that you can't build on them. That way, maybe neighbors would wanna purchase those lots.
Let's expand.
Some of those lots are too small to build on, you know, they were fine to build on in 1910, but in 2024, you just can't get a house on it with the driveway. So that to answer your question, we've got a decision point to make, and I'm waiting on Gateway to tell me how we can proceed with an application. We just finished the post-clinic. Once the post-clinic project is complete, then technically we can apply for another community development block grant through the Department for Local Government. So that's kind of where we're looking, yeah, in the future there. So anyway, we're coming up soon. Thank you.
I'm done.
Found what I was looking
I'm
for,
done.
so. And it's on this sheet, Roger. I'd have to count them up real quick.
Okay.
How many are
That's all
city-owned
right.
properties? But yeah, we're 15 maybe that we have. Okay, we'll move through these. We've got a lot of appointments, starting with agenda item number 8, appoint James Davis to the Recreation Commission. This is to fill a vacancy with the resignation of Sally Razor. He would fill out the remainder of that term. This would go to July 2025. Motion by Barnes, second by Trimble. Any discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 9, reappoint Greg Waters to the Recreation Commission. This is a joint appointment with the Montgomery County Fiscal Court, 4-year term. This would take him through June of 2028 on that commission. Motion by King, second by Hilton. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Reappoint Mark Steger to the Recreation Commission. This is a 4-year term, which would take him through June 2028.
Make a motion.
Motion by King.
Second.
Second by Trimble. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Abstain.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 11, reappoint Catesby Woodford to the Airport Board. He is the chair of that board. This would be a 4-year term, which would take him through July of 2028.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Barnes, second by Trimble. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 12, reappoint Bill Purcell to the Airport Board. This is a joint appointment, a 4-year appointment, which would take him through July of 2028. Motion by Barnes. Second by King. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 13, reappoint Kathy Montgomery to the Tourism Commission. She currently serves as chair on that commission. This is a 3-year term, which would take her through June of 2027.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Hilton,
Second.
second by King. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 14, reappoint Chris Follett to the Tourism Commission. This is a 3-year term, which will take him through June 2027.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by King, second by Murphy. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 15, reappoint Sandra Reed to the Tourism Commission. This is a 3-year term. She serves as the hotel appointment. This would take her through June of 2027. Motion by Trimble, second by King. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Item number 16 is acceptance of salt bids. Nathan Boston, do you want to come forward? So as you know, we participate in a salt auction every year, and this is the time of year that those bids come in. You had some bids placed in your packet. We've received updated bids since that time, so Nathan has put forth the recommendation, I'm sorry, provided you the updated information on those bids there. So Nathan, I'll turn this over to you.
Okay, you can see the three that bid on it are all within 43 cents of one another. Last year, we had Morton, I think it was 127, something like that. So I'm actually going to recommend we go with the cheapest one, the IVG, after doing some research. I mean, we've never used them, but they are the only one that is based in the state of Kentucky. It's a veteran-owned company, local, it's not a big thing, so I said, why don't we give them a try? So, I mean, it's 122 even. The other one was, I think, 122.01 and then 122.43. But you can get more from them also. They sell parts, so we ought to give them an opportunity.
But do we know of any local governments around us who are utilizing that?
Not close to us. They're doing some up around the Louisville area. That's where they base it. But that's the same thing that Morton did. They base it there right by the river, and then they have people haul it too.
Okay.
But there was some in eastern Kentucky. They have it down around Owensboro, a bunch in Indiana, of course, and then they have around the Louisville area, and they're working this way. This is the first year they've been able to get on the KCO saw kit, and that's why they said they've been trying for a while. But I did make some calls. They said they've never had a problem with getting their saw from them. So,
do we know who the county's using?
not yet. They opened it tonight, so I didn't know who it was.
Okay.
So that's in y'all's court. I don't care
I'll
what
make
the
a motion.
So we're making a motion to accept the recommendation from our Public Works Director, which is the IVG Magic of Kentuckiana. King, did you make the motion?
You did.
Okay. Barnes, Trimble. Any further discussion? All the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King. Aye. Murphy.
Aye.
Fairbanks.
Nathan, I'll work on that letter this week to get it back to him. Number 17 is the authorization to retain legal counsel to initiate litigation on blighted, abandoned, dilapidated, bad property submitted by the Code Enforcement Board. This will be Phase 6. Those are in your packets. So on the first couple of pages, you can just see how far we've come from the Phase 1, and then every year, just having continued successes. I mentioned last meeting that 41 total properties within the city of Mount Sterling we've had successes with seeing a blighted and abandoned home removed, and now we've got a nice clean lot that looks like opportunity, whether it's for the city or for that private property owner. So the two houses that we had that were forwarded to us from the Code Enforcement Board were 204 Montgomery Avenue. And Stephen, if you want to be prepared to comment on these, if there's any question. That house is on the blighted, abandoned, dilapidated tax list. It is abandoned, it is dilapidated. The current liens on the property, as you see, are over $7,100. We've not had any current 911 calls, but that house has had a history of squatters. It's not boarded up the way it should be, so this has been an issue on that street for quite some time. And then the second home is at 518 East Locust Street. It is on the blighted and abandoned tax list. It is abandoned, it is dilapidated. Current liens, back taxes are over $7,000. They've not paid city property taxes in over 5 years. No 911 calls to the property. It is becoming overgrown. There is an abandoned car in the front yard, and it does sit on Locust Street, which is on our funeral route. So as folks are, paying honor and tribute to their loved ones as they go out Locust Street to the cemeteries that are on that route, they're having to pass this flood and abandoned home. So this is really the last one on that street that we've been looking to find a solution for. So what I'm asking for tonight is a approval from council to go ahead and retain council to move forward with legal action on these two properties.
Need a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, got a motion by Helton, second by Murphy. Any questions on these? Poll the members, please.
Barnes. Hilton.
Aye.
King. Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Thank you all. Item number 18, review and recommendation for medical cannabis businesses to operate locally here in the city of Mount Sterling. We do have some guests tonight from the Montgomery County Schools. We have our superintendent, Matt Thompson, who's in the audience tonight, and we have a few members of our few board members of the Board of Education. So Sharon Smith-Briner, Alice Anderson, and Carmela Fletcher Green is here. So you all had asked to address council as we speak about this issue tonight, and it may be best that we give you an opportunity to kind of open us up with your thoughts or concerns about how we're going to proceed with this. So Superintendent Thompson, we appreciate you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you guys. This is a topic that I am solely coming to you in my role as superintendent. Okay? Personally, I support the idea of medical cannabis for medical issues. Personally, I have a daughter who suffers with pain 24/7. And I would do anything to find a way to give her some relief. And if at some point in the future this is the only avenue available to us, as a parent, I have to make that decision. And I understand more than possibly anybody who comes to speak to you the true multitude of variables that you all have to consider for a decision like this. And not only the multitude of variables, but the complexity with how those variables interrelate to one another. So I understand the idea of wanting to be a progressive city. I understand the idea of not wanting to default to a no answer on things. I understand that the way the wind's blowing with the state and the federal government, that it would seem good to get on the front end of this and be proactive with trying to figure out what limitations work, so that if this is if the floodgates open in the future, we're already prepared for it. I understand not wanting to be seen as unfriendly to business. So I have the luxury tonight, though, of being intentionally myopic with my comments. Like I am solely focused on the impact on our youth. And what it comes down to is a concern that an increase in the accessibility in our community will result in an increase in the inappropriate and unmonitored use by our youth and minors. And I've seen that personally. And every one of our employees who are also on the city council or who have been employees in the past, you've seen it as well. When we increase the accessibility in our community, our youth will get their hands on it. And we can put the limitations that we think are appropriate, and our youth will get their hands on it. And we can put all the rules and everything else we think, and our youth will get their hands on it. So I truly, and I sent you all an email and shared some data with you in there. When we saw the Delta 8 THC vapes hit the market, I realized that's not a one-to-one correlation, but in the school system, the number of our drug-related offenses almost tripled. Almost tripled in 1 year. And last year, we very much tackled this. And we did it as a community. We increased the education. The news advocate was great. Our health department was great. We had a series of articles about that. I called together our local officials, and we looked at it as a kind of a triangle approach, that if we can decrease the accessibility and we can really focus on what we have in place in the school, and then we can focus on the back end with our court system and our CDW and our diversion programs, we're going to have to hit it from all three of those, and we did. And this year, you saw in the data, we were able to increase it by more than half. I truly am worried for our youth. And again, I have the luxury of being solely focused on this and how it impacts the school district. And I'm not, in 10 years as your superintendent, I'm not coming to address you all. I don't get involved in city business. I don't get involved in the county business. I'm involved in the school business. And I just need you to know this will impact our youth. Looking at the regions that are set up, if you say no and you make an ordinance, or you take it to the ballot and you let the community decide, either one of those, if we end up saying no to this, our local cardholders are not going to not have access to it. They just may have to drive 20 minutes. But having to drive 20 minutes doesn't seem to be a terrible option to protect our youth. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions, anything regarding the data, any regarding the ideas. Our school district, our board next week will be adopting policies and procedures based on recommendations. And one of those, we have to make a decision on whether we'll allow medical cannabis on school property. And you all, if you read the House bill and the resulting laws, there are exceptions carved out within that to where even if you have a local government that says yes, that you still can't do it. Federal buildings, anything owned by the federal, so any of your housing that is subsidized by federal funds, and school districts, assuming that the boards choose to say no. I fully expect our board to say no to that based on my recommendation next week. So I would ask, again, and I can answer any questions or have further discussion, but I would ask that you protect our youth and either vote no, create an ordinance, or you allow it to go on the ballot and allow the community to decide. So thank you for listening to me, and I'll be here to answer any questions.
Did you say vote no to not create an ordinance? What do you want us to do?
My understanding is that you have options. You can choose
Right.
nothing, which
Right.
basically
Which
is a
not
yes
an
vote.
option, in my opinion.
You can vote no, but you have to create an ordinance as a result of that to not allow it.
Okay?
Or you can choose to put it on the ballot. And I know that there are some timeline issues with the ballot, especially if you're talking
I
about.
was just clarifying what you actually wanted to do.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent Thompson, can you just clarify for me? I was trying to take some notes. Did you have a decision point? You said you all next week are deciding whether to allow it or not on school grounds.
So as a part of the law that was created in this legislative bill, the law carves out entities where medical cannabis is not allowed, even if you all say yes, even if the county says yes. One of those are federal buildings, the other is school districts, but in order for the school district to still be considered exempt, the local boards of ed